Hey there, Al Iverson here. It's time for another one of your email authentication and deliverability questions answered. This time around, we're going to talk about the dreaded VIA. Now, to kick things off, let's start with this question that I got from my colleague, Kenneth Schwartzman.
Hey Al, I really like wine and I belong to a bunch of different wineries and wine club newsletters and buy stuff online a lot. I've noticed a lot of them when I get email from them. Sometimes it's in the spam folder and sometimes I see winery and an Avia in my Gmail. What is that for exactly? And I don't think that's right. Is it a lack of authentication? Is it causing deliverability problems? What are some of the mistakes that some of these places are making that maybe we could help them with?
Thank you, Kenneth. All right, so what's actually happening here? The VIA is showing up on those email messages because there's no alignment from the SPF or DKIM email headers. So there's no alignment when it comes to email authentication. Because of that, Gmail's trying to be helpful, showing you what domains are being used in the email authentication settings. Let's visualize what authentication alignment or lack of alignment looks like. On the left here, you can see an example of the different domains used in the different email headers not matching, right? There's three different headers there. There's a visible from header. That's only one of the identifiers that shows who the sender is. There's these two additional headers that are used in common email authentication for DKIM and SPF. And those, in a lot of examples, including these VIA examples, have different domains. They don't all match, and that's a lack of alignment. So in the parlance of authentication, alignment means that all of the different identifiers match. Or in some cases with some ESPs, maybe the DKIM identifier will match, but not the SPF, not the sender policy framework identifier domain. That's okay. A lot of ESPs don't necessarily support a customized SPF or return path domain. That's fine. The key here, though, for a good sender to authenticate as themselves, to maximize their chances of inbox placement, is to make sure that their DKIM signature aligns with their visible from domain. This alignment is also necessary for DMARC. So if you're trying to protect your domains against phishing and spoofing, that alignment is a very important part of that. Now, looking at the headers for an example email that I received for a restaurant's upcoming dinner special, you can see what's going on here. This is an example of an email message that showed up as VIA. There's authentication there, but none of them are the actual brand domain name of the restaurant. None of them are actually the none of the authentication identifiers show the domain name that's actually being used in the from address. So that's an example of a lack of alignment. Now, the DKIM pass headers show gmail.mcsv.net, and also there's another one for mailchimpapp.net. So obviously this restaurant uses MailChimp to send their emails. It's a good platform, nothing wrong with that. They just need to go that extra step there and set up full email authentication to set up DKIM as themselves, so that it aligns and they maximize their ability to get to the inbox. Now, here's an example, a few examples of different ways that people can do this. Some are better than others. Now, if you look at the first one there, if you use your vendor's domain instead of your own, this example is no reply at wineshippingalerts.com. That's great. You bypass all of the authentication questions. They deal with that for you. It's not great branding, though, and you are sort of reliant on their ability to keep that domain reputation clean. For some send platforms in particular, that can be problematic. Using the default domain can be so that it's harder to get to the inbox. You're more likely to go to the spam folder. Then the second one there, the winter mailing list example, that uses a subdomain. It looks like they set up a subdomain automatically for their client there. That's great. That's another example of they are dealing with the domain authentication settings for you, which is very good. But again, you're sort of at the whim of the reputation of these shared domains that they're creating. It's not in your best interest. It doesn't really, it's not good from the perspective of protecting your brand too, because if you can just push a button and have them send as some other domain and have to tell people, hey, this is really me, a bad guy could do that too. Now, this bottom one is an example of somebody doing it perfectly right. They've set up DKIM properly. They've set it up so that the signatures, the authentication things all match, right? See, mailed by and signed by. There's the SPF and DKIM headers. That's how they show up when you view that bit of the message in Gmail. So there's a few different ways you can do this, and some of them are better than others. Now, why is this bad? This is confusing to recipients, right? Because they know you, they don't know create7.com. You don't want to get in a situation where anybody could send mail and pretend to be you, because if you don't have the domains matching, there's sort of no proof that you are who you say you are. Now, it's not good for email deliverability either. You're depending on shared domains, and those shared domains don't always have great reputations, especially at Gmail. And so if you use a shared domain, very broadly speaking, with an asterisk here, of course, that your mileage may vary, you can potentially be more likely to end up in the spam folder. Now, why do they do this? Why do these platforms set you up this way? This is a sort of a common starter configuration. So it's okay to get up and running this way. It's just something that you shouldn't leave that way forever. And of course, the fix for it is not hard. All of these different platforms have ways to set this up so that you can authenticate as yourself. This is setting up DKIM authentication. Some of them will call it setting up your custom domain, or setting up your email domain, or authenticating your email domain. Here's links to a few of the top email sender platforms for small businesses. They've all got instructions like this. And if they don't, you'll want to reach out to their support. And in the off chance some platform doesn't have any way of setting this up, you might want to question whether or not this is the best platform for you to send from, because really almost every platform out there is going to have instructions on how to set this up. And you should really set this up as often as much as possible. It's a best practice. It lets you send mail as you, proving that it's from you. That's good for your brand. It's good for protecting your name. It's good for deliverability. It's going to help your chances of getting to the inbox. And that's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this interesting. If you have a question that you think might be fun for me to answer in a follow-up video, drop me an email at al.iverson@valamail.com. And don't forget to visit our website at valamail.com when you're ready to embark upon your DMARC journey. Thanks. Have a great day.